Moshi, Uninformed movie lovers. Welcome back. It's episode 62, a very special episode. We're doing Audition, the 1999 Japanese horror film with a wonderful director, writer, filmmaker, cinematographer, and our friend, Ryan Riddle.
Hi.
Hey, that's not David.
It's not David.
Yeah.
Who's this good-looking gentleman here?
David, you're beautiful. What's up? Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing me on board.
Of course.
Cool to be here.
Thanks for joining us, man.
Absolutely.
It's been a hot minute, and now we have you IRL instead of in a tiny little screen this big.
I've moved to to reality.
Back to reality. Did gravity come too?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
We pulled up the old episode and we hit Control P, and here he is.
Here he is. Yeah, that's right. For any eagle-eyed viewers, this is Ryan from 2 years ago. It's been that long we've had him on.
Yeah.
And we were talking about his own film, The Music Box.
Yes.
A 2020 horror short film, which is pretty well critically acclaimed on film fests. You should check it out. I know we always promo it, but we'll put the link in the description for you too.
Boom.
So today we're going to be doing a deep dive on Audition 1999 by Takeshi Miike, I believe his name is, who has done some other pretty big films in Japan from what I was seeing. I don't know the rest of them.
He's pretty big in Japan.
Yeah, he's busy, man. He has I think over 100 theatrical releases under his directorial name. Yeah.
Is there anything that's you think we should probably know?
Yeah. The one that I know most. Yeah, Itchy the Killer, if you've never heard of that.
I have heard of that. Yeah.
It is, but that movie is wildly disturbing. It really just reaches a lot of taboos, just horrific violence, a lot of really gross sexual, intense themes, and it's really gross and morbid and nasty, and it's good.
Sounds like
Jesus Christ.
Sounds like this movie.
13 directorial credits.
Wow,
that's insane.
Wow, he's a busy boy.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
There's a Japanese horror film that kind of reminds me of that. It's supposed to be pretty disturbing too, but also pretty good. I think it's called Zero. It's about a dude that's half steel or half machine or something like that. What's it called? Are you
thinking of Tetsudo Iron Man?
That's it.
Okay.
Iron Man. Yeah, Tetsudo Iron Man.
Yeah, and that one too. Not Miike, but yeah, just a weird kind of just assault on your senses. Just weird. Yeah, really weird body horror. Just excruciating music, but
also 90s if I'm not.
Yeah, it might have been 80s.
Okay.
But yeah, just weird stop motion, weird violence, weird stop
cool.
stop motion chase sequences.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's wild.
So pretty jarring, changing in reality, really.
Yeah, really bizarre. It's kind of an uncomfortable watch, but
nice.
Yeah, if you watch, if you check it out, yeah, there's something to appreciate there for sure.
You hear that? If you like to be uncomfortable, watch it.
You're in the right spot.
That's right. So before we get this going, I'd like to thank everyone for liking, sharing, and subscribing to our channel. Our audience has grown exponentially. Our views have grown exponentially. And it's also not just due to our hard work, our back-breaking hard work. Yeah, we deserve it. No, yours too. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Please continue. Give us a 5-star review. I say 5-star now. I demand it. On Apple Podcasts. He's cool with 4.
I am still accepting 4-star reviews.
He's okay with 4. Now that you're going to give us a spite 3-star review, at least follow us so that we show up in your Spotify or your Apple Podcasts home screen every Sunday when an episode or content drops. We also have Character Limit Exceeded, which is pretty much it is exclusively on YouTube. Yeah. So
and go now, hurry, so you don't miss David's 30 Days of Horror.
That's right. We are in spooky season. It is official. This is the first UMR of spooky season. I don't know if you can tell from the new set. Things are kind of spooky here. Everyone just take a breath.
That Donald Trump troll dolls send shivers down my spine.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And we have our reigning P&P champ right here too.
Aw.
The Predator.
Beautiful.
Right on set. But again, thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing. Check us out on Instagram at Uninformed Movie Reviews and on Twitter at UMR Podcast. Check us out on Facebook with all your grandparents, all the boomers. We're there too.
Love them.
Uninformed Movie Reviews. Without further ado, let's get going into this deep dive of Audition.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Audition, released in 1999 or 2000, depending on what search engine you were using at the time, has a 115-minute runtime, a 7.1 out of 10 on IMDb, and an 83% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I concur.
I found absolutely zero budget information about this film.
Yeah.
Not a drop of budget information.
It was honestly hard to find deep information on this film.
Yeah.
You know? But I know we got our expert here to tell us about that.
Well, let me tell you the wealth of information that I have. Who knows? And I know that Takashi Miike was very prominent director in a lot of like television content. And I don't know if that explains the kind of like that digital look. I don't know if that's just the way that a lot of like Japanese like movies like looked back in that like time period. But I don't know. It doesn't seem like, I don't know, maybe like 10 million, like.
I mean, it didn't look like it needed like a lot, except for like the prosthetics and stuff like that they put in.
I'd imagine that's where the bulk of it came from.
Yeah.
Because most of it's...
And the coloring.
And the coloring.
Yeah, there was some really cool coloring in some of the dream sequences and stuff.
But pretty small cast overall. Mm-hmm. Very like close, intimate shots. A handful of locations maybe.
And I think that from what I was reading, the largest star in the movie is the gentleman Aoyama, I believe. I don't know if Asami... the person who plays Asami is also in other things.
She had only done modeling up to this point.
Interesting.
I did find that out.
And then ballerina, but then no one could find any background on her after that. Interesting.
They went to go check and the place was totally shut down, boarded up.
Weird.
Facts.
It's weird how life imitates art.
Someone should look into that.
So usually how we do a deep dive, Ryan, just to get your feet a little wet, is we kind of talk about our first impressions of the movie each individually, and then we go into a general synopsis about it, and then we kind of take it in chunks and talk about it as we go along. And we always...
That's at least the plan. Usually.
Yeah. There's always some divulgence in that. And divergence. We'll also divulge into some details. Without further ado, let's do this. Frank, I'm going to hang it off to you. What did you think? This is your first time watching it, too.
First time watch. Knew very little about the movie last night when I set it up. I drank a bunch of Theraflu, so I had to cut it in 2 chunks because I was like, oh man, very
what a good start.
Like slow, intentional, first half. But I was so excited to finish it because overall, fantastic. What a great watch. Pretty up. I really liked I think the thing that like stuck with me the most is like the dream kind of sequence toward the end, the way it jolts so far between settings and characters, and just constantly he has no idea what's going on. It just felt like such a real dream. Like it wasn't like a psychedelic. It was just like a dream where you don't know in a dream and nothing makes sense.
Yeah,
I thought it was great. Super eerie.
Yeah. This was also my first experience watching it. I watched it with my sister, who has seen it many times, very well versed in Japanese cinema. So she was giving me some little tidbits here and there, giving me some other movies to actually check out. Which
some tabby tidbits.
That's pretty good. If we ever have her on,
tabby tidbits.
TM.html. I mean, I concur with the ratings online. I would say like anything under 80% is kind of like insulting. I think it's pretty masterful in the way that it does things, and you're right, like it's very intentional in the first I would say like third to half of the movie, you know what I mean? For a while I was just like, did I choose the wrong movie? Is this like, because I've seen stuff about this, I've seen promo images, and I've not seen anything coming up on yet, but for this movie, what I saw was that there are very distinctly 3 segments of this movie from what I could figure out. You got the whole romantic setup. Then you've got, like his investigative like reveal of seeing things being not as they seem. And then you've got just the chaotic ending that is just a full apex up until the end.
You get like a nice young torture porn at the end.
Yeah.
And I had to like equate the ending to like the ending of American Psycho. I feel like that's how I felt when I was watching it, because I was just like, all right, no one's really clearly distinctly saying what's real and what's not right now. Is she putting the kitty in the ATM? I want to know.
No kittens were harmed in the making of this movie.
But there was some very real bodily fluids from what I hear. Anyways.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Ryan, what do you think about this film?
Oh, I love this movie. I've seen it a lot. I've Yeah, like back in the day, I just remember Bravo came out with like the 100 scariest movie moments of all time.
Okay.
You know, and like watching like Eli Roth and Rob Zombie and like all these like astute like horror directors talking about
I'm
how.
sorry. Did you put Rob Zombie in astute horror director?
Yeah, scratch that. Edit that out.
I mean, Rob Zombie of the latest The Monsters? Is that the one
I
we're
can't.
talking about?
Which I can't. Yeah, I would love to.
Sorry.
It's all good. Yeah, it's established.
There you go.
People who have made
They have
movies.
work. Yeah.
They definitely made things, but they're talking about just how like creepy the movie is, and I kind of like, unfortunately, like knew about how the movie played out before I watched it, but there's so many subtleties and so many like factors that like creep in while you're watching it, and even though I knew how it was going to end and that it was like a slow burn, it still like took me off guard, and just like really just like blindsided me with just like how like intense things become.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and and it's not just the end like 20 minutes that make the movie. Like there is a lot.
Oh yeah.
It's it's sad. It's commentary on like loneliness in Japan. Not like I know anything about that, but
No.
but it's universal. And,
We just know about loneliness in America.
Yeah, exactly.
I only know American loneliness.
But there's a lot to love about this movie, and even as slow as it is, like the rewatchability is it's there,
totally.
and there's always something new to get from watching this.
Absolutely. I think this was made by a person that Mike, apparently after learning what you told me about Ichi the Killer, that just doesn't play it safe. And it's really awesome. Like, things are full throttle. When they hit the gas, it's like to the floor. One thing, I mean, if we were talking about overarching themes, I'm just going to say, if you are listening to this, a deep dive on Audition, and you need a spoiler alert, I need you to like stop and think before you click on things first. But spoiler alert.
Make better internet decisions.
All right, we're going to go deep. All right. Anyways, so like overarching themes of this, like I was trying to talk to my sister about this, and it's like there is like the theme of how women are treated like a commodity in terms of the entertainment business.
Yeah.
Toxic masculinity, which is, I think, like the first half of the film in particular. Even though Aoyama is not a bad person per se,
He's more influenced by his friend who is the actual casting
who is a
director.
piece of crap.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, they again, this is pre like Weinstein and stuff, and this is pre like Hollywood having to face itself. Obviously, this isn't Hollywood, but I mean, making commentary on like, wow, they're just really like going through and making fun of these women and like just giving them false pretenses on to be here and false hope, and at the same time like cutting them deep with like dumb questions at each part of the audition, and it's all with the sole purpose of this man getting laid.
Yeah.
For life.
Finding a wife, yeah, getting laid for life, if you will.
It rhymes with wife.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's a good dad. He's got a lot of redeeming qualities.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
This also, I think, had to deal with like generational passing of customs to what you're showing your son.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How he's talking about what he wants his son to find in someone, how he's giving him the thumbs up after like meeting the person.
And I felt like the thumbs up was less about how cute she was and more about like,
Yeah.
well, she was totally prepared to cook me dinner. Good job.
Yeah.
You found a key.
Good
Yeah.
And I think it's also talking about like guilt and fantasy because of the segment. I think it's right after Aoyama passes out and hits his head when he's drugged. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's a whole passing of sequences where Asami's face is changed with apparently the woman that he's had an affair with at his office.
Yeah. That was the girl from The Office who's getting married.
Right. Right.
It might have happened more than once, but he ghosted her and she really cared about him. And in fact, in the beginning, she says, "Oh, I'm going to be marrying someone." And he's like, "Tight." And
Cool.
she's just like, she wants him to care.
Yeah, who knows if that's even true,
Right.
If she
And
was
we
just
don't know
saying
if that
to
was
get a
true.
reaction.
Yeah. Because, and then, I don't know if you guys caught this too, but even his housekeeper is interwoven into there too.
Oh, no, I didn't catch the housekeeper.
During his whole
Yeah.
freak out moment?
Yeah, but it's weird because instead of him being, copulating with her, it was the DJ boyfriend, like making out with her essentially. But it's like I'm wondering if it's like male fantasy as a whole, you know, because even his son's girlfriend is in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which who knows if he actually had any sexual fantasies about it, but maybe it's just like the guilt of attraction. You know what I mean? And so that's what I was getting out of it too. And then, I mean, with Asami, she's pretty deep. I mean, like she said, she had like a whole love for art and dancing was her life. And she had an abusive stepfather that essentially took dancing away from her because it was what fed into his male erotic fantasies.
Yeah.
And so she would rather deal with the pain of losing that than, you know, appeasing him in that. So, I mean, layers, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a ton to read into it, you know. The fact that I kind of feel like she was probably living with him this whole time. You know, like it shows her as a young kid, like at the very beginning of the film, at the very end of the film. And then like, you know, during obviously the runtime, like she's an adult and she's still in that exact same room.
Yeah. With her stepfather, you mean?
Right. And when she murders him before going after the main character, yeah, I feel like that's probably like they're in the same they're in the same building. They're in the same home. And yeah, like you say, she says in the film that she has this love for ballet and she's like, oh, that's been her whole life. But, you know, her stepfather being the one, he was probably like her, you know, her teacher. It's like showing her how to dance. So yeah, it's just
seemed to be like her accompanist or something.
Exactly.
Too, you know?
Yeah. So it's just this really just awful relationship and just this overbearing, like constant relationship. Like it's a teacher, but it's also like your torturer. Yeah. You know, it has, just
who
so, like,
lives in your home. Yeah.
Exactly.
And someone who's supposed to be giving you love and support, and you have no support system other than what he gives you, which I'm still debating on the reality of, was he alive when Aoyama stumbled upon like the abandoned building that she lives in? You know what I mean? Did he actually encounter him?
I feel like he might be like trapped in there. That's where the movie turns on the eerie and the right for me. The moment he like starts laughing, even it's like, oh.
I love that moment. He's like, did you feel her?
Yeah.
Did you smell her? Yeah, I know. So great.
Yes.
That's what got it for me.
Oh, and then all right. Well, let's take it bit by bit. I guess we should start at the beginning.
Dead mom time, Disney time, y'all.
That's right. We got Disney a Bambi moment here.
Love it. We have the young son whose name I already forgot because his name was Shigehiko or something very similar to that.
We apologize for our pronunciation.
I think it was Steve.
Steve. There was Steve.
You know, that's kind of hard. I'm just going to call you Sean.
We get him carrying a super awesome paper mache, what do they call it? A diorama of a dinosaur?
It's pretty sweet.
It's pretty dope.
Yeah.
The kid knocked it out of the park. I was all sleepy and groggy, so I didn't realize it was a dinosaur the first time, but then we realized that the version we were watching had no captions, and I was like, I do not speak Japanese. So I had to find another one. Then I was like, oh, look, a dinosaur. And he makes it to the hospital moments after his mother passes away. We don't know why she's sick, but she's dead now.
Yeah.
And then time jump.
I made
years?
this for mom.
Yeah.
I think it's 7 years.
7 years. Yeah. And then we go straight to the apartment, right? After that, we go to father and son sharing a meal in the apartment.
Do we go to fishing first?
They're fishing and they catch. Yeah.
And there's like a commentary on that too, right? Because it's like he's teaching him to like show patience rather than just wanting to get out of there for like a regular catch. He's like, you got to wait for the big catch. It's out there. And he's just like, you know, you're going to lose your mind looking for the best catch out there. So is he talking about, you know, women in general or like a partner in general?
He's like, hey, Dad, you keep trying to catch the biggest fish. You're going to end up with a bunch of needles in your tummy.
Well, that was the problem, is he kept fishing deeper and deeper anyways.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there was probably some meaning in that as well. Then we go to the apartment.
Yeah, then we go to the apartment. This is where, well, from the beginning, you get the loneliness because it's just father and son at the beach. Nobody else out there.
That's right.
You get a very quiet meal in the apartment with father, son, and a cute little beagle. He's such a good boy.
Gungu?
He's a good boy.
Oh, he's a good boy.
Oh, it's a girl.
Gungu?
I saw a bunch of nips.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I mean, they could switch dogs. I don't know, but...
Stunt dog?
Impossible.
Yeah.
No, they would never.
Spooky times happening here.
I know, yeah, that's
spooky season.
The ghost of Gangyu.
We're running a lot of juice, to be fair.
It's true.
Yeah, father and son sharing a meal. They go to talk more. think they're having a conversation to the effect of like you need to go out with like friends and stuff like that, and Sun just hits him really quick with like, you should get remarried. Like,
I like how he pops out of the kitchen like, hey, you should get remarried.
Yeah,
you loser.
Yeah, and he's like, the father's like, that came out of nowhere, and he's like, how else am I supposed to like bring this up?
What do you want me to do? I didn't have a good segue. Hey, so you remember marriage, right?
Dad, I hear you fapping all the time, man. It's got to stop.
These walls in Japan are so thin.
We share a bedroom, Dad.
You either need to get married or we need to stop sleeping in bunk beds. Something has to change here. I especially like him, like the main character washing dishes by himself. Just like his son's already left for a night out in the town with friends, and he's just there like washing the silence of the water going over the dishes and them going into like the drying pan. It just seems so lonely and like sad. Yeah. And you could tell it's what he's been doing for the last 7 years. You know what I mean? That's like how every night ends for him. And then where do we go from there?
I mean, he has a drink with his friend, the producer.
Okay.
In the hotel lobby, I believe, some fancy hotel lobby, and he
also very empty, except for like the other table of cackling women.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the young kids, you know, the girls.
Which is another thing, right? I mean, it seems to be an older generation kind of commenting on. Look at these rambunctious young girls having a good time out in public. Ugh.
Yeah, they're so stupid.
They're ruining
all the
Japan.
nice girls.
Yeah. I believe they call them like stupid and worthless.
Just
they
straight
do.
up, yeah. How dare they laugh, those morons.
It is interesting. Yeah. It's an interesting commentary. I think even like they show a cut to the bartender and he's just like, wow, dude.
Yeah.
Calm down.
Oh, well, because they ask is it going to be an arranged marriage? Is that what you want? And then it incites that reaction from the bartender. It's it's interesting. Yeah. Doesn't speak to them at all. The only thing is that
right
that weird,
how haunting.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yes. Which and it comes back at the end, but
so they come up with the premise essentially in that moment, like, hey, let me set you up. I'm a film producer or casting director. Let me set up an audition. I do it all the time to bang girls, and we'll have them out and we'll give them the false premise that it's for a movie, and then you get your pick of the lot.
Right. And
he sends them home with like 1,000. What are they called? What are they called in the industry?
It's like
fools, suckers. I mean, actors. You know, you're auditioning. Yeah, you're hopefuls. Yeah, you put out your. We need like a woman between 20 to 35. And it's for a part in a movie, and give us your headshot, give us your resume, and we're just gonna out of like it's like hundreds or something of applicants that he gets, and it's like you need to pick 30.
Yeah.
Whittle it down to 30. Put him on the chopping block. Yeah.
I love how he's just like, don't spend a lot of time on it either. He's like, don't think about it too hard. And it's like, okay, still got to narrow down. Well,
and that's the thing that he's like, like don't just go based off of their headshot. You need to like go like into their resume. Essays. Yeah, like read about their life and like really like look into that. That's like the most important shit.
Yeah. I mean, that's what he's looking for too. He wants a partner. He doesn't seem to be doing it just for the nookie.
Yeah. He's not on Tinder. He's signing up for eHarmony.
Yeah. And he's like, he feels like, he says like, oh, I feel like I'm a criminal. But, he still like does it. He sees like
he still does it.
I feel like a criminal, but I'll accept the consequences. Yeah. And then, he sees like the photo of his wife, and then he just like turns that away.
Yeah, that was a good moment too.
Yeah.
And I was really hoping as he's going through that stack, I was like, God, I hope his son catches him right now. And then sure enough, the son walks in.
Yeah.
You can have knocked first. Yeah.
He's like, just to let you know, I got a girl over. And then we're going to look at dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And they innocently do look at dinosaurs.
Everyone knows that's first step. Once you get a lady back to your house, you got to show her your dinosaur books.
Hey, she's going to eat your food, and then we're going to look at dinosaurs. And he's like, all right, cool.
Yeah, she can have my food. Oh, thanks. Are you sure? Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love that. Yeah, so he after I think he does read Asami's essay.
He like spills coffee on hers, and he's trying to wipe it off, and that's like how he pulls it out of the stack and kind of gets fixated on it.
Destiny.
Mm-hmm. And then she has the whole ballet background. He was saying he wants somebody with like a trained skill that it shows like dedication and
right. And like it's interesting too because his partner says like you want to find somebody that's like not the lead actor, somebody that's going to do like well enough to get to like the end, and that's like your girl.
And he's touched by her ballet story about her breaking her hip when she was 12 and having to give up ballet, which is something she loves. She says it's essentially like accepting death.
Right. And then that's like the very first kind of like unsettling, just very brief image of the dead wife in the hospital bed sitting up, just like looking at him.
Right.
And his kind of just like that, his like kind of like understanding. And I think that's what connects them, like initially, like in his head at least.
Right.
It's like, oh, we've both experienced death. Her in a way, and me,
exactly.
Me literally. Yeah. So he's pretty much made up his mind on who he wants to pursue. I think after that, he just goes into the living room. He meets Shigehiko's girlfriend. And if I'm not mistaken, he takes the next day off, or does it go straight into the audition?
I think it just goes right into it. It says that he's like going out, he leaves the kids alone, and I think we hop right into
the audition sequence.
The audition,
Yes.
which the whole
Which is
time
so
he
fun.
keeps looking through the list to see like when he's finally going to get to
Yeah.
meet like Asumi. He's already made up his mind 100%, but he sticks it out because that was pretty entertaining. The like montage.
It's a great
of, like,
sequence.
all-
Yeah,
it's
that's
a
a
great
lot of fun.
sequence.
It needs that kind of like, and it's like it's kind of like humorous.
Yeah.
It gets like darkly humorous at times when like there are girls like talking about like their suicide attempts and they're like, oh, she's crazy.
And they're like,
Next.
skip that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have girls removing their breasts. Insert David
Hey, boobs.
here. All right.
Yep.
This one's good.
That was interesting. That one caught me off guard.
I wasn't expecting it.
No. But I love how they just stick like a random like Japanese mom in there too. She's like, I'm just here because my son told me to come by.
She looks like she's
awesome.
waiting at a bus stop.
yeah.
Yeah.
I do like that. And then, the moment that Asami comes on, you see him just like unbutton his shirt and just kind of sit back all relaxed, trying to throw the moves on.
Right. And everybody else, all the other applicants, he's just quiet the entire time. The only one that's asking questions is his partner, and they're just totally invasive, just totally just like
We're like,
Well, they
are
don't-
you open to sex work? Or
They
something
don't
like
care
that?
about them as human beings at all, and it shows when they're like, "Hey, it's time for break. Are you guys going to take a break? We're already half an hour behind." And he's like, "Yeah, let's take a 10.
15 minutes. Yeah,
Like,
we're good.
Who cares? Yeah. They'll wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they meet Asami, and Ayama is the only one asking in-depth questions, as you were saying, and there's pretty much an instant connection in that Asami, doesn't make direct eye contact, which might be a cultural thing when you're walking in and stuff. But upon interacting with her essay, where he's saying like, "Hey, essay, I liked your essay."
Her essay that owns the bar.
Yeah,
There you go.
Her homeboy. Yeah, he says, your essay meant a lot to me. It spoke out to me. And then, his friend is just like, what the hell is going on right
Hey,
now?
dude, that's not how we do this.
Yes.
She says, I can't remember what her exact response is, to be honest. I think, I don't know, I'm going to have to recall it. But essentially they hit it off. You know what I mean? Or they make some kind of connection. And I feel like they call it after that, right? I think she's like the last applicant that they review or something.
She's like number 28 out of 30. We don't see like the remaining like two girls, but you can tell, like you were saying, like it's like he knows who he wants. And as soon as she comes in, that's when he like, tries to put on like the charm, and like his mind is like made up even before the audition almost.
Oh yeah. He made his room up in his like study room, like at
Right,
home.
yeah. The only thing that I found interesting on this watch, it's an audition for a film, like a scripted film. They never have these girls
They don't read
any lines.
Not a single line.
They're just like, what do you hate most in men? All right, next.
Yeah, that is weird.
It's like, yeah, but hey, because after he like explains himself and like shows like interest, they're like, is that it? All right, well, you're good to go. Thanks for waiting.
We're done. That's a wrap. Hey, you last two, get out of here.
I know a lot of you don't
validate
have
parking.
jobs. And actually, we kind of skipped over that too, but I forgot. As she's talking about herself and they're reviewing her application, they say like, it shows that you haven't been working for like the last couple years or something like that. Like, how have you been able to support yourself? And she's been saying like, as long as I'm able to go out and buy books and CDs, like I'm okay and stuff like that. And she only lists like the club that she worked at.
Yeah,
that
she helps
worked
out
at.
at a bar
like 3
2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Right. Which
Very
which is a detail we should hold on to as it comes into play later on. So after that, everyone goes their separate ways. I think Aoyama is a little smitten, and he's desperately awaiting to call her.
Yeah.
Right? This is the first time from the casting. I I think we don't get a shot of her first. We first get the shot of him calling out first, and then she answers, and
Right.
you know, there's like a little like it almost feels like a great romance movie for like the first 15, 20 minutes.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
what I
Like,
mean?
how is he going to break the news? You know,
Yeah,
like
that
and then,
first act is a weird mix of like a drama and like a romance for sure.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's a good subversion of expectation. So he makes the call. You know, did she say right away like I've been waiting for you to call? I don't think so.
I feel like she says that in person. When
Yeah.
they're sitting together.
You can tell that that nerves are there, and she's like, you know, waiting for his call under the assumption that, you know, she thinks that she's auditioning for this movie role.
Right. Which is
a whole nother
which is another
thing to talk about. Yeah.
You know, so essentially he says, "Hey, don't think this was weird, but this is weird. Can I hang out with you?" He doesn't even mention the movie. I don't even think he just wants to ask if she can go get food and stuff like that. So he takes her out. They go out to a lovely spot. They have a dinner. They really hit it off. You know, she seems to be extremely grateful for the opportunity, and they have like a very beautiful shot of what looks like fall time in Japan, I believe.
Yeah.
Where they walk out, and you know, I mean, it just looks really majestic out there, and she's just like, "Oh, I'm so gracious for this opportunity. I hope we get to do it again."
Right.
And you know, he's stoked. You know, he's on cloud nine. They go their separate ways, and then they meet up. But no, he refrains from trying to call her the second time.
Right. Because his partner is saying, I'm not exactly sure when it happens, but he tells him to kind of like hold off for a minute,
Which is good advice.
just back off, just give it some time, give it some breathing room. But I believe in that like time period in the movie, he also says, "Yo, I called her reference."
Oh yeah.
You know, and like that guy like disappeared, and we don't know anything about like where he went. And I believe that gets brought up at the dinner, and just very meekly like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Like my friend told me that I should say that I'm represented by a manager or an agent or something." And he's like, "Oh no,
He meddles
it's fine."
in my personal life, and it's a whole thing.
And he's like, "Oh, that makes so
Plays it
much
off very
sense.
well.
Let's move on." Yeah, he's just like kind of just like, you know.
It seems like a detail that should be swept away, right?
Totally,
Like the
yeah.
filmmaker's just like, "Oh, that's explained away. Don't worry. You know, don't hold on to that." So
Right,
that's
all
really
makes
good.
sense. Yeah. Just business as usual. Yes.
Yeah. So again, they hit it off on the second date. They go a little bit into more about her, I think.
Right. Well, when
Oh, he tells her about the film, I think,
Yeah, the second date is when he breaks the news about the film.
right.
which is good.
But yeah, like the second time that he does call her, this is post, "Hey man, you should be careful." He ignores his advice, and I do believe that this is the scene where we do see her waiting by the telephone for his call.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, it shows a cut to her apartment, which has looks a little bit decrepit. There's a single light, there's a single telephone, and a line, and something ominous in a giant sack.
Yeah.
That we don't know what is in there until
Did we see a jiggle on this
until
one?
the phone rings.
We see a jiggle,
Yes,
right?
we see
Yeah.
a jiggle, and it, you know, the camera.
There's
just
like a roar effect too.
Yeah,
which is cool.
There's a
Yeah.
weird like stock sound effect, but it works and it takes you off guard. But like one of the creepiest things is the camera focuses like on her neck, and then it has to be like hours later because you actually see, you know, like the curves like in her spine. She's just been sitting in the exact same spot for God knows how long.
And once you hear the first ring, it shows that close up of her smile.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, that
Through her
smile's
hair.
nice and creepy.
Really good. I mean, it's almost like a manga. Like I'm just like, that
Totally.
is so
Gorgeous shot.
perfect. Yeah, the shot is perfect. The shot is perfect.
Right. Yeah, and then that roar, the bag just tosses around, and we cut away, and they have a completely normal conversation.
Right. The first inkling of something being really wrong for the
Right.
audience.
Yeah.
And it was definitely a jarring moment. I was just like, oh, okay. Very cool. Very cool. Different shift. So after that, that's when she says like, "Hey, I've been waiting for you to call."
Right.
And she's not lying. And so is this when he arranges for them to go out of town?
Oh, shoot.
I think it's after. I don't know if we see the conversation, but I know he mentions it to the son, like, "Hey, no,
Right.
like I haven't proposed yet," which is already crazy because they're only 2 dates in.
Yeah.
Sometimes people move fast.
I feel like they do have one more like dinner scene. And maybe that's like well, not to get into critiques, but yeah, like I think there is like one more date where they, you know, where they kind of go into like her not having like the greatest childhood.
You're right.
And he's kind of getting like catching wind of like, okay, like, yeah, like this girl has like some baggage, but like she's obviously, oh, I'm so surprised a girl like you know, you've been through so much trauma, but like you hide it really well.
Yeah, you don't
I
even
like that
show
in
it.
a woman.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Yeah, they go on like I think they intersplice like 2 dinner sequences to kind of show like that they maybe have like hit up a couple dinners. Takes her.
That's right, because they're in like that brightly lit kind of cafe thing,
exactly,
and then they're like in a fancier bar.
Right. Yeah. And then and then they take a taxi home. You know, everything's going well, and before they get to her actual address, she's like, "Ooh, let's stop here."
Yeah.
Let me out here.
Which
yeah.
is another thing that kind of
Yeah.
flies over your head, right?
Sure,
On first
totally,
watch.
yeah.
Because she just gets off and you look out of the window and it's like at a bridge or
Right,
something. Like
and she and he's just so like
He's like,
content.
okay.
He's very- he's just Matty Pants.
Yeah. So I guess he does arrange for them to go out of town, and I think he tells his son, like,
Yes.
hey, I'm going to be proposing to her on this one. But I think in between then, he has a conversation with his housekeeper.
Yeah.
In which she says, like, something's different about you. You never take a day off.
Right.
Like, I don't think I've ever seen you take a day off, because he's the owner of his own company and he's a hard worker. But which I don't know what his company does. Did anyone catch that?
Import and exporting, I think.
The import-export
Yeah,
business.
But he's stressed out because his business partner thinks they should be focusing more on the importing, but he thinks they should focus more on the exporting.
See, that's where he's all wrong.
Yeah.
Wow. That's just wonderful.
It's just like
office,
a business
Yeah.
place. Yeah, I don't think they go into
his
detail what he
office,
does.
just a
Yeah.
small sidecar. His office is dope.
Yeah.
He's got some sweet, like, some manga all over the place. He's got some little Gundam figurines in the back there. I was just like, this is
yeah.
dope. I mean, it's messy, but it's dope.
Yeah, he has a big personality. That's also where we see his assistant,
coworker.
right? His
Yeah.
coworker, female, who you can tell that there's something is
happened
there.
here.
Yeah, she's kind of seems like she's pining for his attention and almost out of the blue as well.
She has that same lingering sense that oh my god, we just watched American Psycho that he has with
Oh my
like his
God.
assistant.
I
Yeah,
love that
It's
scene.
the same
What's
thing
her
that
name?
she like.
Chloe
she,
Sevigny, but
yes,
I can't
the
remember.
way she lingers at the door. It's like that exact same vibe.
Yeah, there are a lot of parallels.
Nothing.
Yeah, I think. So the housekeeper essentially says, like, obviously, yeah, this is out of the blue for you. This is kind of different. And then she comments, like, saying, "Oh, I wish my husband was such a hard worker so I wouldn't have to work." And then she, like, sits at the table, kind of undoes her hair and stuff. You know, maybe she's
Does
trying
a
to
quick,
get his
like-
attention. Yeah, you know what I mean? So she knows that he's met someone, and he doesn't answer at all. He just, like, kind of smirks and stuff. But I wonder if there's history there, and that, you know, maybe that comes into play later. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So we're in the out of town sequence now.
Right.
They're at some
Yes.
seaside resort, looks like.
Right, like 40 minutes in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? And you know, he's kind of like, they're in their hotel room, which has got a really interesting bed, I gotta say. Like, I don't
The
know if you guys
like
caught
wrought
that.
iron,
Yeah.
like a headboard thing. That's
Yeah.
really
It
interesting.
It almost looked like
yeah.
vines, and it was like standing up, spiky almost. It was really interesting. I like, it caught me off guard. I was like,
It
where
looked like a gate at a cemetery.
Yeah, I was like, where the hell are they? And there's a lot, I think, of symbolism in that room too, because it's very white, right?
Right.
Well, and the first time he
Right.
meets her, she's dressed all in white.
Almost
Right,
the whole
yeah.
film, yeah.
And even in her
she's wearing
ballerina
a lot of white, yeah.
Tunic or whatever it's called. Pardon me. It's white. So, and then there's a lot of messaging and loss of innocence in that too. So, you know, it's funny. It's a cool scene because they show us like a close up on him, and he's kind of going through the itinerary, what he wants to do, and she's just like not facing him, and then decides like to disrobe
Yeah.
bit by bit. And I mean, he just looks up and is just in awe, like, oh, I mean, if you insist, you know.
Well, as she was undressing, my beautiful girlfriend Grace was like, "Tidy whities, that's a red flag." And then today we were watching another series with a serial killer who also wore tidy
Telling you,
whities, and I was
something
like,
about it,
"Oh my
man.
god,
Was it
you're-
Dahmer?
Yeah, it was Dahmer.
it's
Yeah,
Dahmer,
it's like, oh my god, you're onto something
Gotta
with
be
this
careful.
tidy whitey
I'm
thing. Yeah.
pretty sure Ted Bundy also wore tidy whities.
I'm sure he did. Charlie Manson probably, when he did wear underwear,
I was gonna say, I don't
tidy
think
whitey
he
guy.
wore underwear.
That's why I just don't wear underwear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No one can profile. If you want to not be profiled on your underwear, just don't wear underwear.
That's right.
Free ball it to show that you are trustworthy.
I
did
streak
go
my
first.
jeans. So yes, you got Grace. You're on point right there.
Yeah, she has points.
Yeah.
Yes, for real.
So she disrobes, and weirdly, she gets into bed under the covers and says, he starts to approach. She says nothing. Then he starts to approach, and then she says, "Stop, hammer time." And then she says, "Take a look at my body." Right?
Yeah. I want
she
you to look at
pulls
my
the
body.
Covers
And
up.
then she goes up from the feet, and I was just like, this is like a gag. This is a perfect moment to like put it in. This is a scary movie moment. Because I was just like, what is going to happen, And she's got some of the longest legs I think I've ever seen on a person. Because that reveal was like...
That's the whole movie, yeah.
Yeah, and they get to a mark that she has, which looks like either cutting or some kind of abuse.
It's
right?
scars. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's definitely scars.
Right.
2 perpendicular scars.
Does she say...
Parallel.
Did she give the backstory at that moment?
She just, I think
she says that she had an accident and burnt herself as a child.
Right. But, with that, she is also saying, like, if you're going to love me, I'm going to be the only person that you love.
Right.
Yeah.
Period. And that is kind of an intense thing to say, but he takes it and he's like, sure, you will be my wife. You will be the only woman that I love.
Right. Which as a general...
As he's unbuttoning his shirt.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, for sure. Yeah, always.
Okay.
Which as a general audience member, we take as a partner. Yeah, look, of course you're going to be the only person I love. Right? So we'll see how that feeds into later on. So they have sex. And they wake up next to each other. Or Aoyama wakes up next to each other. Or no.
Well, they don't
Sexually.
even have sex.
Oh, this is the moment. All right.
It's just a bizarre, he gets into bed and it seems like a very aggressive, like, turn.
Yeah.
And he awakens and he is alone. Completely alone. Waking up to the sound of the telephone ringing. And it's the manager, whoever downstairs, saying that your partner has just left. So I'm calling just to make sure you're still here because we got to get paid, yo.
Yeah.
Checkout time has passed.
You are going to pay us, correct?
So then, I feel like this is the pivotal moment in the movie we're talking about because everything from henceforth is like not really clear on what's real and not.
Right. Yeah.
And everything goes back to this moment.
Yeah.
Every time there's a reset of what is reality and what isn't, it seems to be that this is the most pivotal moment because he seems to have accepted almost like a terms and conditions that she gives. Like, I'll let you be inside me.
He scrolled all the way down really quick. Hit, yes, I acknowledge,
Right.
accept.
Right. They didn't.
Past all
they didn't,
32 pages.
Exactly. He didn't do that new thing that they're doing now where they have to see you scroll to the end and they're like, then you can accept. Even then you don't read it.
No.
So
Fool.
Yep.
you'll just never read the terms of conditions. And that's why you get duped. So yeah, she's gone. And I actually think this in the timeline leads to him wondering where she is, trying to get in touch with her. And then he actually goes out to look for her at her address.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. He gets into kind of a disagreement with his partner, and he's just like, "I don't need your help. I don't need you." Yeah. And he,
He's like, seriously, back, like, you, like, I know I told you once already, but you should probably try and forget about this girl, man.
right. Yeah. Like,
This is a sign,
like,
bro.
he probably, he didn't tell his partner. I'm assuming that like he was like gonna propose or that it was even getting serious. But yeah, I guess he goes back into like his paperwork and he sees I believe the academy where she used to do ballet.
That's right.
Yeah, he hunts down the now
right.
defunct ballet academy.
Yes, right.
Which is boarded up.
And then he breaks and enters.
Yeah. I love that scene though, because he like comes in and he's like, this can't be it. And then he kind of walks away and then he's just like,
Well, it's funny because it's boarded up and he's like, hello? Hello, is there anybody in there?
Oh yeah.
come on in. Yeah.
Yeah, this is for show. Yeah, I think he hears the piano playing, which gets him to, break in basically. And
Yeah, that's a crime.
indeed. Yeah, you don't.
At least I
don't
assume
do
it
that.
is in Japan.
Unless someone,
Right,
yeah, maybe like hearing a ghost piano is actually a way of giving someone greetings. Giving them
Maybe.
permission to come in, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the piece. It might be a song of greeting.
I have
I
no
think
idea.
it was from Damien Chazelle's La La Land.
Was it really?
No.
Oh, okay. I was like, wow, that's so insightful, Ryan.
It's a
Thank you.
tidbit.
I'm glad that in
Tell
the
everybody.
I was gonna say, I'm glad that in the absence of David, we have someone misdirecting us on like trivia.
Good.
Yeah, you're fitting right in. It's perfect.
Good.
So he goes in and he sees like you were saying, a defunct ballet studio with what looks like a older gentleman playing the piano in a very haunting manner.
Credited as man in wheelchair.
Yes, Squeaky McWheels.
I was like, is this? I was curious because I was like, is this chair as low as it goes? Because I almost feel like I think I'm better than these guys because I'm so much higher, which is not the case. I was like, maybe I could lower it a little bit. No, a lot at once. Yeah. Pardon me.
A lot of spooky things happening here.
So scary.
So scary. So he approaches this gentleman, and he asks about her, I think, and here comes one of the coolest sequences, I think, in the entire movie, where we get the that young woman up there. You don't want to go to that woman up there.
No, I don't want to go to that one.
Yeah, that's essentially how it plays out. I'm looking for this lady. Do you know anything about her? And he's just kind of like,
he has like the Predator laugh at a moment. Like, yeah. So he essentially says, like, have you seen her? Have you tasted her? Have you felt her? And he's like, what's going on?
Yeah, then get out.
Leave. Yeah, I love it. And you get a shot at this man, and his feet are what's the word? Amputated? I mean,
it's weird. It looks like he has wax legs underneath from like the shin down. Is it much like Cotton Hill, who had his shins amputated, and then they had to put the feet on the knees.
So he waddles.
But this guy, looks like they made him some wax shins, and then they're like nailed to boards.
They're like sewed to his like stumps.
Yeah, maybe it's like a feudal Japan type of prosthetic process that they had or something.
Right, but they work, like to make a point. Homeboy just stands up to like tell him to get out.
Doesn't look like he can walk anywhere, but he could stand real quick.
It looks like a defense mechanism, like an animal were to stumble upon you and see that you don't have regular human legs, you have those creepy things, they might just like turn tail and run. So Aoyama's a little freaked out. He doesn't know what's going on. And this is when he heads to find her place of employment.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's like, anyways, I'm still going to look for this lady.
Oh, that was weird. Well, and it just goes to show your willingness, your willful blind. I'm messing this up. Just not seeing what's in front of you because you're in lust or love.
Right.
Either or. Anyways, as he pursues her place of employment, he finds, what do you know? Another abandoned place.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a dude who informs him that.
I fucking love this dude. I'm sorry. This guy that comes in, man.
The guy with the bow tie.
The dude with the groceries.
I thought you meant me. No.
No. Not you, though.
No, that guy is hilarious. He's
so courteous.
Right. Yeah. He informs him that this place has been closed down for like a year, and the manager there was just murdered. He's like, oh yeah.
Says it with a smile too.
This dude just got murdered a year ago.
Super murdered. It was super weird.
And the weirdest thing, there were 3 fingers and a tongue. Scary world we live in.
Yeah, 3 extra fingers, an extra ear, and an extra tongue.
And a hard cut. A hard cut to him imagining, and this prosthetic tongue just. I'm just like,
the sound of the tongue hitting the tile floor.
That was really good. That was a good shock. And he just looks in horror too, and that's where I was talking about the color grading of this film kind of changes right away, and you're just like, whoa!
And just that amazing Dutch angle, and they they talk about it by saying like the building is leaning.
That's right.
Right, and they're like, since the building is off angle, blood was just gushing down the hall, and that's how we knew.
Such a cool
weird
detail.
Yes, like, such a very bizarre little detail, but it totally with that lighting just totally just like hits that mood,
super jarring.
Right. Yeah,
and arguably like a moment where you're just like, oh man, things are getting crazy. But then I also love Smiley McSmile face. It's just like, yeah, that's weird, huh? Yeah.
Anyways, have a nice day.
This food's getting cold. I'm gonna go.
Yeah. Do you know of a girl that used to work here? She used to work here like 3 times a week.
Never heard of her.
That's so fucking weird.
Yeah. So he still thinks things are fine, and he continues. Actually, I'm a little lost at this point. Where do we go?
So,
he goes home.
Right. But before that, we do see the maid feeding the dog. She's done for the day. She's leaving, and we hear a voice message from the son just saying that he's not going to be back. he has, he's going to go hang out with a friend.
He's going to go look at more dinosaurs. At an exhibit, I believe, actually.
Right, yeah. They just came out with a new dinosaur. Dude.
There's this famous archaeologist from Seattle in America named Ross Geller. He's doing a speech. I'm going to go check it out.
And we see a POV of...
Wait, I'm sorry. Is that from Friends? And is Ross from Seattle?
Yeah, dude.
Is he really? I didn't know that.
I've never seen Friends.
Really?
No.
Yeah, I'm not a Friends guy either, but I
do
didn't
love
know that was
dinosaurs.
his backstory. I do love dinosaurs.
Yeah.
I have seen dinosaurs. Not real.
Yeah, he's not a
IRL.
medical doctor. He's a doctor of dinosaurs.
Right. I just didn't know he was actually from Seattle. Huh? Weird.
They all are.
Go figure.
What?
Yeah.
Are you talking about where they live?
No, it's New York, right?
It is New York.
It's New York. I'm in New York.
So that's why I was like,
Yeah.
interesting. What an interesting detail. That's
Because
very
Central
wrong.
Central Park. I'm dumb.
There you go. Another
Continue.
half fact.
So lost.
I'm not the one giving half facts today. This is great.
You'll get one in. There's still time.
Okay, all right, back to it. I'm sorry.
Oh, and that POV shot
Yes.
of just the camera just waiting for the maid to leave and then entering the home.
And going to Aoyama's favorite whiskey decanter,
Yes,
which is fancy, and I like the way it looks, and it looks good.
it's a good looking decanter.
Good looking bourbon.
No,
Looks. Maybe Scotch. Could be. I don't know. Anyways, Gangyu is also seen there, and that poor little girl. That poor little girl.
oh, pooch.
So then we get home. He decides, man, what a long day. So many signs that I just ignored. I'm just
It's time for it.
So many glaring red flags that I'm just not going to pay any attention to.
She's a 10, but she doesn't exist. So he sits down, decides to have a drink. Then he gets up and tries to walk away, and then proceeds to fall down and hit his head. And at the moment, it's a great cut. Bam.
Right.
Something happens. Where are we at, Ryan?
That's a good question. He wakes up. He's like, I guess I had too much to drink, and the movie ends on a happy note.
Audition.
This is when things start hitting the fan, and I'm trying to remember exactly like that right what happens like when he hits his head. I think it
he
just
goes back to the hotel room, I think.
Ooh.
Or
He might go on it might go back to like a date. Oh, I think that's it. Yes.
Yes.
It goes back to him and Asami at the bar, and they're discussing now into like greater detail, I think, like the actual abuse that she endured.
that's right.
Right. And it seems, weird cut, kind of like puts us back into that sense of security. And it goes back to that moment, I believe, where it goes to the darker bar. And they continue just professing their admiration for each other. And that's when he realizes that his wife, his son's girlfriend, and his son at the age that he was when the mother died are sitting at a table adjacent to them.
Oh, hey, when did you
just
guys get
there.
here?
I love how he stands up. He's like, "What's up, babe? Check this out. Look
Yeah.
at this thing."
Hey, did you check out my new wife? I'm going to marry her. She's pretty cool, right?
And the ghost again throws 7 more red flags at him. Don't. Just no.
Not her. Like, I'm not
don't.
saying you can't get married. Not to
But
her.
no,
man.
bad call. Right.
Flag on the play.
Yes.
And
Holy smokes!
there we go. Yes. So at that moment, I do think that he wakes up.
Well, I think immediately after that, he like finds himself in Asami's apartment.
That's right.
Right? Yeah, like as soon as
Oh,
she's
that's
just like,
right.
no,
We haven't got
not
here yet.
him. Right.
That's right.
That happens. And it's just a bizarre, like, sexual moment of her just being like, I want you. I need you. And she just goes right for the pants.
Yeah. Tried to throat.
Yeah. She
She tries to give him the Nancy Reagan.
the throat goat. Heads up to Nancy Reagan, literally.
for real, man. She was a
Shout out.
Shout out, you fucking legend.
good woman.
Sorry. All right, so hard cut. Like, she's trying to get in his pants, and he's like, there's some sucky noises, and
Right.
we get him going like, hey, stop, but keep going, hey, stop. But then he looks down, and he sees that it's actually his assistant looking
Right.
back up at him, and she's just like, I cared for you so much.
You just used me.
Yeah. She reveals that they had sex only one time, but it was probably a mistake.
Seems like it.
I would say so. Not as big of a one as he just made. And and it's bizarre because as soon as that happened, he like falls over, and then it's his son's girlfriend who's trying to like, attack his jaws.
Yeah.
And
I like how you said draws.
Jaws.
His
That's just how I talk.
Josh for a penis.
I only speak in like a Boston accent when I say drawer.
Draws and calves.
Wicked smack. Yes. So it's his son's girlfriend. He's like, whoa, stop doing that. And then I think he hits the bag.
He does. You're right. Right. Yeah. He trips over it. That bag that moved, so early on in the film, we finally like see,
starts writhing, wriggling.
Right, he goes to untie it, bam, and slowly. We're assuming that it's like the manager or
her her old manager,
DJ
I guess,
boyfriend.
who was also her boyfriend, right?
Right. He just comes crawling slowly, scarily out of this bag, and he's missing 3 fingers. He's missing his tongue. He's missing the ear.
So. At this, I was assuming something a little bit different because they found the body of the manager in the bar. They found extra 3 fingers, ear, and tongue. I think her ballet dancer and her stepdad were 2 different people. Because then we get the flashback when she's talking, like in the flashbacks, we see the gross dude in the tidy whities on Asami's mom. So I assume this is what was her stepdad.
Wait,
in the bag.
I thought that the girlfriend that this guy was cheating on her with, that was the girl that was found dead at the bar, and it's his appendages that are just left.
Okay,
right.
Ooh, yeah, that could work that way too.
So yeah, she murdered the girl, and that he was cheating on her with, and then cut off his fingers and his tongue and his ear.
And we're assuming she said the same thing to him, like, you'll love only me, right?
Yeah. Right.
Same terms and conditions which he's swept by.
Yes.
Easily.
And
I'm sure he was like, but baby, I don't love her.
Baby. Ooh, baby. That's obviously what the song he was producing.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah. So, at that, I mean, I love this scene because he crawls out and then there's like, there's a splashing sound.
And gagging.
Yeah.
Happening in the back to where Aoyama's just like, and the audience like horrifyingly tries to turn around and see what's going on. We see Asami in the back in the dark with a dog bowl coming out towards him in the most chicken noodle looking vomit I've ever seen, with some corn in it too.
Yeah, it looked a little bit to me like the green chili soup at Cafe Central.
Don't ruin that for
down.
me. Don't ruin that for me. I was trying to make
the
chicken
texture
noodle.
of it. Yeah,
with like a little bits like peas and carrots in there.
Right.
God. And okay, I don't know if I heard trivia right about this. Maybe you know about this, Ryan. Was it really vomit?
I don't
maybe not the
think
actual thing that he was drinking, but like in the shot coming out.
I don't. Sure.
I don't know.
I mean, it'd definitely be cooler. Yeah.
Let's say it is.
Let's just say it. Yeah.
For the clicks.
It is.
Let's do it.
It's real vomit, you guys.
That was rough.
It was rough.
Like, because as
Very
soon as she
gross.
comes out with the bowl, you're like, oh man, she's about to feed this dude this vomit. And he takes it so
he
gladly.
just hounds it down. Like, it is the best thing
without
he's
a
ever
tongue
eaten.
too.
Yeah.
And the sounds.
Right. She kind of like stumbles and like pours out a little bit. You're like, oh my
And
God.
this is easily like the top 3 scenes in the movie for me, but this is definitely one where I had to kind of like look away, man. I was just like, I can't watch this dude just like slurp up vomit like that. Like,
Grace was like physically gagging.
Yeah,
I thought
it
she
is
was actually
disgusting.
going to lose it.
It is
and she's actually
really
off camera
gross.
trying not to throw up. Right
yeah,
now.
sorry, we won't talk about it much. Like, I know it's weird for me because like, you know, some people do get like weak stomach to blood and stuff like that, and I've never experienced that. But
Right.
it is vomit that like
that gets you?
me the closest to a weak stomach.
I'm okay with vomit. If I see a pile of vomit, I'm okay.
I like vomit.
But if
You know,
I
vomit's
see
cool.
it leave the mouth, I'm very sympathetic to that. I will vomit. I'll be like, oh God, I'm going to do it too.
To me, it's the thought of the smell that really kills me.
Well, and just
You know?
like the gulping down of it, and
Oh God! I got it. We gotta stop. I can't.
well, the best.
the gulping down of it.
That's such a good verb to put in there.
Yeah, because he's slurping it. He's like,
He gives like a little yummy noise.
I gotta stop.
The cap to this scene is when we see like Asami as like a 9-year-old girl, and she's just patting him
That's
like
right.
a dog, just
Good
like
dog.
good boy.
As she looks at Aoyama and says, "You'll love only me, right?"
Right, in her 30-year-old voice. Very bizarre, very odd.
What a fever dream!
And that's when he's like, yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it feels like dreaming on
Right.
NyQuil.
It's yeah, and it's just one thing after another, and it doesn't stop. And we don't even leave it yet.
No.
That's when the stepfather just happens to show up.
That's
Yeah.
right. Out of the darkness.
Yes, he actually gets up from his little chair.
He waddles like Cotton Hill.
Yeah, yeah, with those like iron like needles
they look like
that are in the
tweezers,
fire.
yeah.
Yeah. And that's that's what we like come to like know now, that he would burn Asami's thighs when she was dancing.
And she would stop dancing.
And
Yeah.
it's just, oh my god, yeah, it's an assault. It's this bizarre montage, with the guy, the bartender.
Oh, yeah.
That sound effect comes
And
back,
it's so rhythmic in timing with the music too. It's so good.
and we just see the young girl dancing. We see stepfather masturbating.
while
We
she's-
see like the tongueless man. It's just a horrific little just moment of lines of dialogue being like repeated. And it's just a nightmare.
Yeah.
And that's like the height of it. Just super bizarre.
a real visceral depiction of what a nightmare would be.
Yeah.
Like really well
Right.
done.
Yes. Yeah. Just incredibly. And you're just so desperately wanting to just get out.
Yeah.
Because it's so unpleasant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a moment where it was just like, oh my god, this feels like, I don't know, someone's just cranking up the volume of a song that I hate. Like I need it to stop.
And
Yeah,
it just keeps
yeah.
going
It just
higher
keeps
and higher.
going higher and higher.
But it finally breaks away.
Yeah.
And we're back in the living room.
Hotel room. No, I think in the hotel room, right? Because he gets up to like wash
No,
his face.
we go
or-
back to
Not
the
quite
living
yet.
room
Ah,
first.
you're right,
We
you're
don't
right.
flashback
Okay.
to the hotel till after things happen.
Right.
So has he discovered that he is on the floor?
Yes.
Okay.
He also realizes that his poor little Poochie.
Oh,
Is-
is he Gangu?
Yeah, we see the
Ganger's
dead
dead.
dog with
Yes.
the wrench neck through
Yes.
the door.
And we see Asami.
Classic Metal Gear Solid move.
Yeah. Yeah. She messed that dog.
Silent.
Oh.
Love
Finish
it.
him. Yeah. But yeah, she's showing on like a leather dominatrix like apron and gloves.
So dope.
Yes.
Very
It's a
dope.
good
I
look.
love how it's very industrial looking. It's not so much
Right.
like sleek and slim. She's got like almost like plastic straps in the back that are like out, kind of like frayed.
It
Almost,
made me
you know
think
what I
of
mean?
the outfits that the travelers wear in Hostel. a little bit.
Exactly, without the cap, right? Without the swim cap.
But they had the like rubber like apron, the long rubber gloves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pretty hot.
all black.
Good look.
Yeah,
Yeah,
some people
I'm
are
into
into that black glove thing. Yeah, so she shows up and throws out her tools.
Yes.
Throws out her sheet. I love this scene of her just like flopping him over and putting out the sheet and then flopping him back over. It's just
Yeah.
He
amazing.
just rolls.
Yeah.
His arms are just like what?
Which I was just like, dude, she's got to be pretty strong because a full adult male, like, got to be like at least 180 pounds and she's just flooping it.
Just flooping it.
Just floop it. It's Nike's new.
And then she explains before, like, because she injects him, right? Like, hey, like you're paralyzed,
Right.
but you will feel.
Actually, this
You're
is
gonna
going to
feel it
heighten.
so much.
Yeah.
It says you're going to be able to move, but you're going to enjoy your pain.
Right. Yeah. And the only things that
Such
she
a
have-
Hellraiser moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's the
So,
ending
yeah.
to the remake of Last House on the Left.
Oh, dang. Yes, it is.
Yeah. I just wish they had carried out that torture a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But the dad tells him like, hey, like, so I've paralyzed you, but you're not going to be able to move. You'll be able to scream and you'll be able to feel, and that's it.
Right. And she injects him in the tongue.
Right.
And good thing it cuts away for a second, but in like a little bit of sidecar trivia that really happened to me, like I did get my wisdom teeth taken out and they had to cut my gums and they gave me 3 shots, 1 in the gums, 2 in the tongue.
Ooh,
And it was
wow.
extremely painful.
Yeah,
Sounds
the
not
needle in
pleasant.
the gums hurts.
Yeah, that hurts.
Yeah.
The tongue one really sucked.
But then
That
it's
sounds
kind of
terrible,
funny
yeah.
when they're just like hammering the teeth out of your head and you're just like, oh my God, that's really going to hurt later.
all you just hear is "Gung," as it resonates your
Yeah,
skull.
yeah.
Like, "Gung, gung."
Hear the
I thought that was a
crunching.
delightful experience.
Yeah, it was fun. I was laughing watching Family Guy because they had me on laughing gas the entire time.
I
too.
can see how
Nice.
people get addicted to nitrous. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
If I was a dentist, that probably would be the reason I become a dentist.
Right. Yeah.
Just
It
to
has
get
its
access to
perks.
nitrous.
Or you could just get heavy on like the rave scene or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Just like come in like a scuba diver and just have like nitrous tanks. I'm going on a weird tangent right now.
Are you still on laughing gas?
I am. It's the effects have stayed. So let's see. So he's alive and awake and unable to move, but
Right.
he's still able to feel everything. And here we go with what look like acupuncture needles.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. Wilhelm it. So she gets on him and she says, you know, this is one of the most sensitive areas on the stomach. And then she just starts going a little bit, and we get the iconic.
Yeah.
Oh, man,
Deeper,
yeah.
deeper. So creepy, and she just derives such joy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, it's
And
such
she's
like
going
childlike.
slow too.
Yeah.
Oh, and she
Right,
twists
right.
too. Yeah.
Right.
She's like,
Yeah.
And yeah, she's just hitting all those good spots, and she's like, "Oh, this is like an especially like painful area, like right? This right?"
and she says too, like, you know, she's saying like, you men are all the same. You all say that you want to love only someone just to get what you want. And then she tells them about the audition and how it was. But I do love the moment where she's saying, it's almost like a philosophical thing too. She's like, only when you're experiencing true pain can you be your real self and like find
Right,
yourself
yeah.
and not lie.
Yeah.
And I was just like, Hellraiser.
Yeah, and she knows about his son too, and he's like, don't touch him." And she's like, "Oh, you love your son? I thought you only loved me." And
Yeah.
it's like, dude, she's
Yeah, you always have your son.
What?
You'll never be able to give me 100%.
right. I have nobody, but you have other people that you can love. That's not fair.
Again, read the fine print every time. Read the fine print.
Always read the terms of service.
So, yeah, and then she even, once she has the needles in the stomach, you know, she's continuing this life lesson with him. And then she pulls her dress up and like sits on the needles.
She
Yeah.
mounts him and then kind of just like
Drags
Yeah, dude, I'm just like,
Yeah.
whoa, what was going on?
The sitting got me, but the drag, I was like, oh my god.
Yes, yeah. And then she starts with his eyeballs, the eye
Yeah,
under
man.
his like eyelids.
I love how they don't show it immediately though. They're like doing it and like they show him his head angled up. I honestly thought, you know, because they're just doing like a squelching sound, which is really good. You can like hear something penetrating flesh, which is cool. And I thought it was like going into his nostril, like, you know what I mean? So before they show it. And then when they show it, I'm just like, that's worse.
She says it's so cute too. She's like, this little spot under your eye. Yeah, that's going to be really painful too.
Yeah. And I thought she like straight up went into his eyes too, but like, you know.
I thought that too at first, yeah.
What a shot too, you know. I mean, really great prosthetics because they even show like the skin kind of swelling on his eyes too, you know. And just little beads of blood, nothing crazy, you know what I mean? Not like she's getting, she's
They're
like,
tiny little needles.
Yeah.
And then they're still in there plugging up the hole.
it's just insane.
Yeah, flicks him.
And we're not even at the best part yet.
Right.
So after that's happening, she continues to, you know, give him the villain monologue. And as she goes down, wait, do we?
I'm trying to remember when the last cut back to the hotel comes in. Is it before or after the sun
really
gets home?
jarring, and I don't like it.
Right?
But yeah, like it's not yet.
Okay.
It's not yet. She does, you know, that's what she says. She's like, well, you know, you're not going to be able to run anywhere without any feet.
Right.
So she has that piano wire.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
It is piano
yeah,
wire. Okay,
yeah.
okay.
And I think we missed a
Because she decapitates the,
right,
the
her
ballet.
stepdad with that.
Right.
Right, and that happens. In that
What a
horrific,
scene.
awful sequence. Yeah, he's just playing the piano, still playing the piano. You're wonderful.
The man's
And
a professional. Yeah. The show must go on.
Yeah, exactly. Incredible moment with the decapitation. Yeah, and just like that the sound design with him still playing, and then it's like off key
And it goes slow,
slower.
yeah.
Yes, dude. Amazing sequence.
The way
Yep.
she just flings the head off of the body and it rolls around. It's pretty great.
Yeah.
Hits the piano.
Yes,
And it
yes.
goes down. It's amazing. Yeah.
So yeah.
So that's the first instance we see the piano wire, and pretty creative.
Right, and then the reintroduction with you know her cut, her wrapping it around
Love
like his
it.
foot. Yeah, just like imagine
The
like
sound
the
of the
Achilles
tension
tendon
on the wire hitting everything.
and that little tourniquet she puts on before too. You know what I mean?
Right,
She knows what
right.
she's doing, and I love how she like, you know, she's had some practice, but you know, as she does it, like you see the wire tighten, and I'm just like waiting for the moment. I was like, please, just get it done already. She's just like starts laughing and starts going even harder and stuff.
It's so gnarly,
It's,
and then that shot outside.
the best scene in the movie.
Yeah.
Best scene in the movie.
Just
I think.
flings the decapitated
And
foot
it's
into
so
the window.
quick. It's just What an amazing choice to have it on the balcony just looking in. It's just so funny.
Incredible. Right. Yeah. And then on to foot number 2.
Yeah, which she starts and then they cut, I think.
Well, she gets about halfway into it, and then we hear the door open, and it's his son.
Shigehiku, yeah.
Right.
Dad,
and
I'm home. My friend got sick.
Hello, father.
Dinosaurs were cool.
And that happens. She hears him coming in. She goes into her little satchel, and she's pulling out what I assume is like, knock somebody out spray.
I thought it was
like
Axe
chloroform
body
or
spray,
something? Yeah.
just to make them go, oh, no,
Some like
no.
Listerine, yeah. Right, and she hides. The son comes in. He sees his father. What happened? And that's when Asami comes in. She has like the spray, and right before she gets to him, snap, and we're back to the hotel
in the bed,
Ah.
right?
and we're just, what the hell is going on?
Yeah. Because then the tone totally changes from like, the killer's in the house to, I've decided to accept your marriage proposal. And he's like, what? Did I even tell you about that?
Yep.
Yeah.
And actually, I think I'd like to rescind if I did.
What you gonna say if I say never mind?
Yeah.
So he gets up to wash his face, terrified. And as he washes his face, he turns around to see Asami there, like, "Are you okay?" To which he says, "Yeah, bro.
I'm fine.
Never better." My feet are here. Oh, I love how he wakes up and he's like, "Ah!"
Yeah.
He wiggles at first and he's like, oh, thank God. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great if like, they were like in the hotel, but his like feet are gone. He's just like, oh,
That'd be
I guess
better.
that happened.
Oh man, I guess I'm here though. Things must be okay. So I'm a little lost right now. Where
Well, because at this point when they jump again, I'm like, okay, so really what the f*** is happening right
Yeah,
now? Like, what is
Yeah,
real and what's not
super,
real?
Yeah, just super you feel so unbalanced. But yeah, I think he gets back into bed with her. They have like some sort of conversation right when she's just like, I have decided to accept your proposal. So what did she say like when you like first asked? Whatever. Something, like he realizes this must have just been an awful dream. She goes to bed, and right as he kind of starts lulling back to sleep, which would have been like an amazing cut to black and credits. Right,
Yeah.
you hear that kitty, 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 or something. And that snaps him back. Oh, never mind. We're actually back in his
No,
apartment.
your son's in danger too.
Yes, and so whether that weird jump back just to like kind of like mess with the audience one last time, back in the house.
Did it happen?
Right, yeah, and and now Asami is chasing the son around,
Which is
the house.
in itself pretty hilarious too.
He makes
Yes,
the typical
yes.
horror movie mistake of running upstairs.
Right.
Because that's the best place
It
to
worked
escape.
out in his favor.
It did
this
work
time,
out in his
though,
favor.
Yeah, but yeah, it's such a bizarre. Yeah, like what are you doing?
I love that. Yeah, the comedy just being like, he's like, stop it. So he gives her a good old falcon kick, right?
Right. Yes.
Falcon punch. Yeah.
Which I did not think that was gonna do it, but I mean, she breaks her back. Yeah.
That LB will get you out of some sketchy situations.
Right. Yeah.
So she breaks her neck or back, I think neck,
Yeah.
at the base of the stairs, and it's amazing because just nothingness, just motionless, and then you see her pulse or whatever, like she's trying to breathe.
Yeah,
or
she
something
takes like a breath and you see that bone.
Real good.
Fantastic effect.
Yeah.
I don't know how they did that.
I don't know how they did it. Yeah, even the
No.
prosthetic, as Aoyama stares back at her, her neck is still there, and I can actually see it pulsing. Like you can
Nice.
see it pulsing if you look close enough. I'm just like, how did they do this?
They just did it for real. They're like, look, committed to your proposal.
Yeah.
It's the only movie I ever
How
will be in.
dedicated are you to it?
I'm a method actor.
I felt revenge for the dog in that moment too.
Yes.
I was like,
Right.
that's what you
Yes.
get.
Yeah.
Poetic
Pretty much,
justice.
yeah.
So she, like poetically breaks her neck while staring, being able like right at Aoyama.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And as the son goes to call 911, a bunch of these like, I don't know, very like kind of just like specific things that she told him as they were dating. It does kind of get a little tragic because you hear that music come in and her just saying just like I've been so unhappy like for so long, am I even allowed to be this happy? Just all these things that like she kind of like expressed, and maybe it was real. Maybe that's her only understanding of love, of affection, is this morbid, bizarre, kind of torturous, relationship because of her stepfather and how he treated her. And
real monsters are so rarely born, and they're much more likely created.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And and I think he says one last thing to her. Just I can't remember the line, but that's how. Remember. Yeah, he's like that's that. But we move on, right? Like we
that's right.
We
one day you'll learn to enjoy life, or something like that. You'll see that life is a blessing, or something like that.
And that's it.
And then he seems to
credits.
Yeah, he sees her as the little girl wrapping her
ankles. Yes, that's the final shot of the film, right? Yes,
as a ballet dancer, like wrapping her ankles.
Yeah,
and credits, and it's just such a perfect ending. I think you know what I mean.
So,
what a movie! I remember at the end of it just being like, that third sequence of the movie is just fantastic.
Totally, completely unexpected.
Yeah, so well transitioned, so well directed, and so rarely is it that something can pull off the "is it real? Is it not?" in just a skillful way, and not just like a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think my first reaction out loud was what the with Grace and Company. That was up, which I think is exactly how we ended Barbarian.
Also,
that's great news for the channel so far. We're on a roll for Spooky Month.
Great movie so far.
Yes. Oh yeah.
David's hit some good one on Spooky Month too. I think he did. I
think he just did Hocus Pocus too. I need to check out the review.
I can't claim that yet. So he did Edgar Allan Poe's The Telltale Heart, done by Robert Eggers, which I still need to see. I didn't even know existed.
I watched it immediately after watching his review.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. It should have some attention to it. What do you think of it?
I liked it, man. It's and he was right. Like he was saying that Robert Eggers is like, if it has enough good stuff to warrant like a watch. It's only 20 minutes. It does seem like a filmmaker still kind of trying to figure out his own voice.
Yeah.
But the old man specifically looks so creepy and bizarre, and like Robert Eggers' style is there. His affection for language. His there's like the 4:3 aspect ratio. It's,
that's true.
It's a cool, nifty little watch. 20 minutes.
It's got to be better than Shyamalan's Praying with Anger. You know what I'm saying?
His first film. What a great.
Oh man,
what a great venture.
That.
No, you don't.
I didn't, and from what these guys have told me about it, no, it's not.
Just a big old mess of poop.
Is it also a short?
It's on YouTube, I think.
It's full length.
Yeah, it is a full length.
That changes things.
It's just really
Shyamalan. He thinks he's the best director that's ever directed.
Yeah.
Just smelling his own poo all the time. So I actually have a quick sidecar I wanted to ask you, since we're on the quick little topic of Robert Eggers. How did you enjoy The Northman? What did you think of The Northman?
I don't disagree that it's like incredibly well made. It's still a good film for sure, but no, it's a little disappointing. It's a good film. Like I think it's like hard to argue that, but like The Witch and The Lighthouse are such masterpieces.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Incredible films. And I appreciate the authenticity, like the action, and even if you don't compare it to The Lighthouse or The Witch, like there's something just like missing.
It just feels like nothing unique.
Right.
It feels like a Hollywood movie.
Yeah, you know what I mean? There's like a little bit of like detachment there, which is unfortunate. Yeah.
Right. Because
good movie, but
at least I feel like The Witch and The Lighthouse, which you kind of touched on, are so unique as themselves.
Right.
They don't even seem like the same director almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But knowing it, it's like, oh, like he's like evolved. Like this is him, like full stop.
Oh yeah.
The Witch blew me away the first time I saw it. It still
blows me away
every time.
Yeah.
Incredible film. And The Lighthouse is just on another level. It's so
haunting,
wicked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
Just
awesome
wild.
film.
That's good. I wanted to know your opinion on that, because as a channel, we were like, okay, yeah, it's okay.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I liked it a lot, and then I watched it a second time, and I was just like, this could have been so much more.
Yeah, I feel like
I haven't watched it a second time.
Yeah, a second watch I feel like would really like pull,
because you kind of know what to expect and stuff. Yeah,
there's nothing like surprising.
The whole like Lion King ending, or really rather the Revenge of the Sith ending, really got to me. I was like, okay, yeah. But, you know, it was a movie done with his wife, too. I think, like, half and half. I think she and him worked on the story together. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's she's also Viking descent, so I think that's probably what kind of sparked the whole interest in it, too. And even David was saying, you know, when we were walking out of there, we were just like, okay, so it's Hamlet, or it's The Lion King, which is essentially Hamlet.
Yeah.
And then we found out from David that, which is true. I did check it. It's not like a misleading fact from David, which is often, but that Hamlet is actually based on this Viking.
I did hear
Hamlet.
that. Yeah. Right.
So.
Right. Yeah. It's a very straightforward story. Revenge
Might be one of the oldest stories ever told.
Sure. Yeah. So yeah. You know, not my favorite.
No, I'm looking forward to his next thing. We'll see.
Sure. Yeah. If he does do Nosferatu.
Oh wow, yeah, I had heard about that.
That would be
incredible.
fun.
That'd be
Let's
interesting,
watch
right?
that.
I haven't seen
how he does that.
Nosferatu in a long time, and it's so important to film, but at the same time, it's just like, man, how many times can I watch Nosferatu?
Yeah.
Will he do it in 4:3 again? I want to know. So that's 1999's Audition, guys. I think it was an amazing watch.
Yeah.
I really gotta say.
I'll look forward to watching it again sometime.
Yeah.
I believe the hype of this film. I sincerely recommend it to anyone who hasn't seen it. You've already heard about all of it. If you haven't seen it, and you've like watched this or listened to it, so sorry, but
But also weird move on your part.
yeah. Like I said, learn better internet etiquette. That's gonna actually. If you guys don't have anything more to say on Audition, what do you think? Any last words on Audition?
Highly recommend. Give it a watch.
Yeah, it's a masterpiece. It's for Japanese horror, I think it was one of those like first that American audiences really kind of started like understanding and seeing and just being like, oh, like there's a lot to kind of get from this culture and from like this side of the world, like cinematically. While all the jumps, the back and forth, like I don't think all of them land. Like there is a little bit of frustration with that. But as a whole, it is an incredible film that, like everybody should check out. It's gory. It's sad. It's awesome.
Doesn't pull any punches, but not over the top at the same time.
Right.
It's not exploitive.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel that way. But.
And it's interesting that, you know, American audiences did take to this movie because this is right around the time period, if I remember correctly, that Ringu and like Ju-on were coming out too.
Yeah.
And those in themselves are more just straightforward stories.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
about ghosts and
And it is what it is. What you see is what you're getting. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Right? Not really hugely open to interpretation, really.
Yeah.
So
I think there's definitely some wiggle room in this one.
Oh yeah.
Right.
There's so many themes, like so many ways to take the context of this story. So yeah, definitely worth a watch. One of the most dense and yet not so dense movies at the same time, but has a lot to say, I think. So that's going to be 1999's Audition. Before we head out to our next spot on the itinerary, like, share, and subscribe. Please help us out with a follow on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It helps us get into your home screen Sunday morning, 7 a.m. when we drop hot loads of content for you every week. Sorry. Let's get going with...
Oh, that's interesting.
Was that a little jarring for you?
I loved it.
Yeah, thank you.
As we were like approaching that wrap up, I was like, Ryan has no idea what's about to happen. right now.
This is good.
I was waiting for Danny to start, and then I realized I have the movie news today.
That's right.
It's not an Ezra Miller update, so that's
Darn.
even cooler. We're going back to the land of Japan, y'all.
Ooh.
Well, actually, we're going back to the land of Japan, coming to America, because Godzilla against Mechagodzilla is set to play in U.S. cinemas for the first time in honor of Godzilla Day, November 3rd.
That's dope.
Yeah, very cool.
OG.
The original show.
No, the original.
Oh,
All
okay.
right. I was like, they're making another one. Awesome.
I was like, yeah.
No, keep your eyes
I mean, I
peeled.
am stoked for the I do like the legendary verse, but I mean, how enthused can you be because you know it's coming?
I'm so excited to watch this movie on the big screen.
Yeah.
cool.
Thanks to Fathom Events, American audiences will be able to see 2002's Godzilla against Mechagodzilla in U.S. theaters for the first time. The screening will happen in over 450 theaters on one day only, November 3rd.
Wow.
Godzilla Day. Let's go.
Didn't know that was Godzilla Day, and now I'm even more excited. I'm sorry, my Lord Savior, right here.
Yeah, only a month after Mean Girls Day. How exciting!
How weird.
Yeah,
I don't remember if that era is Shoei or Heisei era, because I know it goes in a couple. There's Toho, Shoei, and Heisei, so I think it's later. I think it's Heisei, but also just dope ass
it's the
movies.
fourth film in the Millennium era.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, I see now. After Godzilla 2000, gotcha.
This is just the one they're doing this year. Obviously, Godzilla Day is to celebrate the original release of the original Godzilla
Yeah,
in 1953.
Wow.
still slaps.
But keep your eyes peeled. Definitely sign up for some email lists because I tried to find the tickets aren't on sale yet, and they haven't even released the list of theaters that are going to be playing this movie,
Darn.
which is very frustrating. But on Fathom Events, I also found it on Fandango.
Nice.
You can go in, join the email list. They'll email you when tickets are on sale.
Nice.
Don't miss your chance. One day only.
Cool.
Screonk.
Yeah, it is a great movie.
Yeah.
It really is. Have you seen not this era, but Shin Gojira? Did you ever watch Shin Gojira?
No, I have. I've seen Matthew Broderick.
Oh no, you
and,
poor soul.
I know. I haven't seen a single Godzilla movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Aside from the
You know what?
the obvious.
all right. Let me just give you this little Shin Gojira insight. All right, so Shin Gojira is like a remake on the original Godzilla or Gojira, but it's by Hideaki Anno, the man who made Evangelion.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna tell you this: like, it is probably the darkest Godzilla film, and it's cool as hell, dude. It is dope. It is really good.
Much better than that Matthew Broderick.
I mean, let's just forget that ever happened.
Yeah, like there's
The Roland
is that the one where
Emmerich
he just looks like really
An
like
iguana?
intense. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like his spikes are all like
He looks like a demon in
he's
the Shin
very
Godzilla stuff.
horny,
Yeah.
I'll say.
Oh, and Shin Gojira,
Yeah,
yeah,
Shin
like
Gojira.
he's got like he's missing part of his face and stuff, and
Nice.
it's like it's a
Cool.
real good monster movie.
Yeah, I need to check some of those out for sure.
Very worth it. Very worth it. Not very Hollywood at all, and super cool, but also really rejuvenating. It's like a fresh take on Godzilla. It's really cool.
Nice.
I like it.
Cool. Heck yeah.
That was very interesting, Frank.
That's all I got. Very limited information. Needed the world to know, and I will be looking out to try to get tickets to that thing. That'll be dope. Dope,
We need a
dope, dope.
space for him on our soundboard.
Yeah, I'll add a second pad, and it'll all be Godzilla noises.
Perfect.
Just 6 different screonks.
Bum, 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 bum.
Yeah.
Show him your. I'm sorry. All right. Well, that's going to kick us on over to Character Limit Extended. Correct. And the movie we're talking about today was the movie I tried to talk about last week, but it's not. It's this
Still
time.
did. You were like, let's talk about this. I was like, no, that's not how these releases are going. You're like, well, we're talking about it anyways.
Time's a flat circle, Frank. And we're talking about Barbarian.
Oh, yeah.
2022 release, the first film written and directed by Zachary Krager of The Whitest Kids You Know. Did not know that going into this, and that even just heightens the film. Have you
Yeah.
seen this film, Ryan?
Absolutely. I
Nice.
did. Yeah. Yes.
What'd you think?
I thought it was great.
I mean,
Thought it was great, man. And that's the thing, dude. You see the poster and you're like, what the hell is this? It comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, I heard
and
nothing
then
about it.
yeah, and then there's just like all these glowing reviews, and almost all of them are like just go in not knowing
Yeah.
anything.
Don't look
And
at
I'm
any,
like,
no
all right.
spoilers. Just go watch it.
Yeah.
how rare is it that a movie can generate interest just by not telling you anything in the trailer?
Right.
Like
and
giving
yeah.
you the most basic of setups. You know what I mean? It's just like, maybe this is a romantic comedy. Okay, we'll switch halfway. Mystery House. And you're like, okay, why is it called Barbarian? I gotta know. You know what I mean?
Definitely. And like kind of a cool like companion piece to Audition. How there's
Yeah.
that kind of just like switcheroo effect where it's like you thought it was going this way. Well, it's actually about this.
Yeah.
Also a story about love.
Guess what? You're wrong. Strap in.
Yeah, you know, we had gotten a little bit into detail on it last time from my mistake, which happens. And we were talking about how there's some buzz. You know, Zachary Krager's stoked about it, but someone was asking him about a sequel, and he's just like, no.
No, there's no reason.
He was saying like, I don't want to see this Frank character do anything else. I'm
Yeah.
good.
No, it's it. Yeah.
Just because he missed it on the last episode. Again, he was making a joke. He's like, I kind of play with the joke in my mind of like making a sequel where the trapped mother character survives, and then she just like tries to reintegrate into society.
Perfect.
I have to ask you, Ryan, when you were watching Barbarian, and this is kind of near like the end of the movie, did you happen to catch the Deep Blue Sea moment?
Oh, when he's just like, well, I've been here 15 years.
Yeah, all right.
Bam! Yeah.
She ain't never coming in here.
That was,
Smashes
dude,
through the wall.
that was hilarious, and you could tell that that's where it was going. It's like, oh, this is just having fun. It's having fun, and I really appreciated the movie a lot. It's been everybody's like saying it, but it's been a great year for horror.
It really has been.
Yeah, but Barbarian just like pulled it off. It's so much fun. I don't know if you guys have seen Wreck.
Yeah.
Okay.
The original Wreck, yeah.
I have not.
Oh, well, that was my first thought when you see the monster. I'm like, it's the
That
Wreck
is the Wreck
lady.
monster. Yeah,
It's
the one from the apartment. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, just there. And I love
boobs
that.
and all.
Yes. And she wears whitey tighties too.
Yo, there you
There
go.
it is.
I'm saying
Whitey
That is
tighties,
it.
bad
That
sign.
is it.
So you got like the distinct wrong fashion choices that we have to find on the channel. Maybe you can concur with this. There's the pedo suit, which is all tan.
Yeah, if somebody's wearing all khaki, there's a pretty good chance that guy's a pedophile. And as long as they're not an
I have one
adventurer
question for
or
you.
a zookeeper. Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you're not a
You're either
zookeeper or
Steve
an explorer.
Irwin or,
Yeah.
or Jared from Subway.
Yeah, true.
Ooh. And then now we know that Tidy Whitey's equals
Yeah,
murderer.
yeah.
That person murders.
Yeah.
Go
I wonder
figure.
if Frank, that guy in there, ever wore it. Not you. You might.
That guy looked like a tidy whitey guy.
Yeah.
From the cutback scene, he looked like a tidy whitey man.
Yeah, he looked like a Marlboro 100s and Miller High Life and Whitey Tidies.
For sure.
Yeah. It's a good combo, but a bad look.
Yeah, very relaxing, but don't go in public with
That's
your
right.
Whitey
Yeah,
Tidies. I mean, I can't recommend Barbarian enough. Like we said in our reviews, you had the shortest one, so I feel like...
I had the haiku.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what I said last time. Who knows? That was like 2 weeks ago, a week ago. Who cares? Yeah, I'd recommend it. If you haven't seen it, go watch it now before it's out of theaters. Definitely get that full theater experience.
Sure, yeah.
There's just something about being in a totally darkened room with like the surround sound that really gets you, even in all the like very claustrophobic scenes.
Right.
for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And it's great. It has a lot of fun, has a lot of scares, will creep you the hell out. There's been very few movies where at the end of it that I've looked over to Danny and just kind of sat in silence for a second, like, yo, what did we just watch, dude?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But we were laughing. I was like, that's only the second most f***ed up movie I've ever seen Justin Long in, because we went to go see Tusk together all those years ago.
I didn't even know he was in this movie until it was happening on screen, and I was just like, nice.
Yeah. As soon as he showed up, I was like, oh my God, it's Justin Long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw his name like on the on the poster, and his introduction is just so like
You don't have to show off that you can read, Ryan.
Coming in here and flexing on us.
Subtle flex.
I use my Justin Long. It's very helpful. Yes,
Your
got
phonics
it.
monkey.
Got it. And I love Justin Long. He's
Yeah,
great.
dude, he's rad.
always
great.
a good addition. Yeah, Drag Me to Hell. He was great into, and
I forgot he's in that too.
and he's
man.
such
Even as a young comic relief in Galaxy Quest, knocking out of the park.
rocks.
yeah, he's a bastard in the movie, but like he plays it just so well, and like he is just likable, and he makes you want to watch where he goes.
Did it make you feel like a fond remembrance of the people from Hollywood when you met him on screen?
Yeah,
I was like, oh, I know that guy. I know that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the watching experiences where the whole theater was like captivated by the movie. Like, everyone was quiet, everyone was laughing when you were supposed to, everyone was like terrified for most of it too. So it was really, I mean, it was just everyone was along for the ride.
Nice.
And it was so great to like at so many points in the movie, like guessing what was going to happen next and be like, nope, I was wrong.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
a nice feeling.
Yeah. I had no idea where it was going the entire time, which is very, it's a breath of fresh air. And the opening I think is like my favorite because it was so like what is going on, and just seeing like these like surprisingly like well written and acted scenes between this girl and Bill Skarsgård. Like it's one of the Skarsgårds, and
it is,
and just that slow reveal, it's so strong. I loved Yeah, I loved it. It was
Loved it.
awesome. Yeah.
And still, we get the
movie.
old man in the gas station at her job interview where she's like, "Oh, you're staying in that neighborhood? You don't want to stay in that neighborhood."
Yeah, so you're in Detroit. You're either there for a job interview or to see the Lions play, but don't hang out in that neighborhood.
Why are you traveling to go see the Lions
Yeah,
play?
you shouldn't do that. I want to see my team lose in person.
That was funny that like nobody was messing with their cars. It was like such a
Yeah, that's
terrible
interesting.
neighborhood.
There-
And she parks on the street.
It's
and
the
it's like,
one well-lit house in the entire place, too.
Yeah.
That should have been bad sign number one. Look how wrecked this neighborhood. Nobody's stolen our cars yet. People are afraid of this house.
Yeah.
There you go.
No
People
one's-
know not to come here.
Yeah, Barbarian, excellent. As a channel, highly endorsed, and even as a filmmaker himself, Ryan Riddle says, stamp of approval, I think.
Yeah.
So that's going to lead us to our last segment, Ryan. This is Peeps and Predicts.
Awesome.
Peeps and Predicts, for those who do not know, is when we,
For the uninitiated.
for the uninitiated, is when we put two peeps or people into a predicament and see who comes out on top.
Actual fact, it's everybody's favorite hypothetical debate segment on this podcast.
Well done. Well done.
I like that.
Ryan, you're the guest, so you're going to pull the first peep today.
Great.
And it's a situation of two peeps. So then we'll give Frank the old predicts over here.
All right, so I got one or two.
Yeah, there's a pair.
Our
They're paired
reigning
off.
champ from last
I'll
episode
grab that
continues
pair.
to be the Yautja or the Predator, still reigning on top from last week. Let's see if we can knock him out with someone else.
Oh, I got Daemon Targaryen versus Jaime Lannister.
Oh, lovely.
Ooh. Two very interesting characters.
Indeed.
Good
Wow.
character development.
Yeah.
And what are they facing off in first? Who's more likely to outsmart and survive a run-in with the Predator?
Dang.
Wow.
The Predator
How
himself?
fitting.
I'm just kidding. I mean, Damon's got a dragon. I don't know if he gets to use the dragon.
He does. Yeah.
Who's better at combat, you think? Well,
Between Damon and,
And
Jamie?
did you watch episode 3? Because it shows Damon in comment on episode 3. In combat on episode 3.
No, I didn't watch episode 3. How do you
Yeah.
fight in episode 3, my love?
It's
It's pretty good.
he's not bad.
Throws down.
He's pretty hardcore.
yeah. It was a sight to behold. He really did it. you
Yeah.
know?
Single-handedly stopped a war. I'll say that.
Well,
Right.
Jamie Lannister does most things single-handedly. now.
Darn.
Ah,
Darn.
got him.
And before he loses that hand, he is the best
Swordsman.
swordsman in Westeros.
Right.
At least his sister would say so.
Yeah. Oh.
Hey. Check. Well,
The entendus are there. So let's see. I'm honestly going to say that I think that Daemon is a better fighter than Jaime
And
Lannister.
you have to admit that having a dragon gives you an edge.
yeah.
if he gets to use it.
Get a leg up on the competition.
I mean, even the Predator can't fly unless he's in his ship. So, I mean, I think the dragon could take out Predator in a second. But even if it was just a test of skill with a sword, like, I think
Like
we're...
if it's final scene, the Predator's stripping off his armor and his gear, and he's like, all right, let's do this.
Yeah. And here's the thing, is that Jaime Lannister gets lucky, but again, he's lost his hand. Even when he had his hand, though, he was a fair, noble fighter.
Right.
In
True.
Yes.
tourneys, not in a war.
Yeah.
And Damon has been in wars, and he's a dirty fighter,
Yeah,
too.
Right, yeah,
I
he
do
does
know
not play
he's not
fair.
afraid to
Right.
play dirty.
Yeah, that
Right.
boy will spill some blood,
Yes.
and he gets off on it. You know what I mean? So
It's a pretty, I think it's like a pretty like easy win for Damon.
Yeah,
I
I'm gonna
think
say
he just,
so, too.
nabs
Yeah,
it,
especially since it's like not even who will definitely kick the Predator's ass, but like who's more likely to outsmart them.
oh,
Like,
for sure, Damon.
'cause he's got the leg up.
He's like, my niece. What do you got?
Bear's like, whoa.
Oh,
So that's how he sounds, right?
whoa. So, all right. So then that means let's try the next predict.
Why don't you
Cool.
pull a set of predicts out there, Danny?
Woohoo!
What do we got next?
It's stuck.
It's a little sticky down there at the bottom of the
Yeah,
jar.
you got to get your fingers way deep in.
This is the hardest
Use
it's
the,
ever been.
use the sticks. You
There
have
we
an
go.
apparatus right there.
Oh my
Have you learned nothing
Animal
from
Planet.
Dude, Where's My Car?
Exactly. Oh, what a smart chimp. All right. The next predict being who's most likely to secretly have an original LP from 311.
Oh God. Jamie Lannister looks more like a guy who would listen to 311.
Hell yeah. I can see puka shells on Jamie
Daemon
Lannister.
Targaryen listens to Meshuggah.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, let's be real.
Yeah.
Totally.
I mean, if it's not brutal, Daemon doesn't want to hear it.
No.
I could totally agree with that. And if he is indie, then he's like into like Velvet Underground or something like that. He's not going to be into like amber is the color of your energy.
Yeah, Jamie with like his hairdo, like his like little boyish gorgeousness. Like
He just needs 2 polo shirts with pop collars and a puka shell necklace.
and just
man.
like those headphones, just
Yeah.
like
His
specifically
boat shoes
on the beach.
Oh yeah,
Just like drawing like a palm tree,
woo!
and him just like having sex with his sister under it.
Definitely. I mean, he wins in that department.
We found ourselves a tie, gentlemen.
Oh my god!
Tiebreaker round.
Tie breaker. Oh shoot. Well, we got another one in there.
Let me see that jar. I can start working on the final round.
So the tiebreaker of the Predator versus Daemon.
No, we are still Jamie
Jamie.
Lannister versus Damon.
Damien.
Oh,
Jamie
yeah, 'cause
versus
one
Daemon.
got one. Yeah,
we're
that's
1-1.
right. Are you hitting that?
That is the tie that I referred
Darn.
to merely seconds ago.
I wish I knew how this game worked after 61 episodes.
You'll figure it out, man.
62 episodes.
Yeah, maybe by 69 you'll have it all ironed out.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll have something done. That's
Oh.
for sure. Is it you or me? You got it open. Might as well be you.
Okay, yeah, let's do this. This feels more like a tiebreaker than a final round.
Okay.
Who could haggle the best price at a used car dealership?
Both are good with words. I feel like Damon gives less of a though.
Like he'd be more conniving about it.
Like he might threaten.
The used car salesman's life.
Like,
yeah.
Listen.
Yeah.
I'm getting that 91 Honda.
Yeah. You are going to put an 8-track in there.
There's nothing you can do to stop me. Yeah, I love Jamie, but Damon just totally just like became like one of like the best like Game of Thrones like characters within like just a couple of episodes.
I really think there's nothing that he can't do.
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
honest. Like
He's
because he's so cutthroat.
right.
More so than anyone, I think, in Game of Thrones. It's weird to see a Game of Thrones character that is just extremely competent.
Right, and he shows discipline, like self-discipline.
Yeah, he holds
Yes.
back. He's got a little bit of little finger in him, that connivingness, and he's able to like smooth talk people, but at the same time, he's able to play the game 3 steps ahead of other
Absolutely.
people.
He's like like all the most conniving characters in Game of Thrones without the blind spots.
For sure. Yeah, I don't know if you could catch him off guard. To be honest,
No, yeah, at least not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, he's a
he
smart,
could definitely
clever
slap
boy.
the top of that hood and be like, "I can fit so many of me inside of this baby."
He should be like a used car salesman.
Yeah.
It's like, let me tell you about this car.
You're
this
gonna buy
vehicle.
it.
Yes. There's no engine in it.
He negotiates the deal so well that he ends up actually owning the used car
buys
dealership,
it
and now this
himself.
guy works for him.
He Robert California's him. All right. I guess that goes on to
Daemon Targaryen versus the
Yeah.
Predator.
the Predator, and they better win this because this is the last predict we got. Oops. Let's see. Who's most likely to be a good baby to the barbarian monster?
Oh no.
Now, who's most likely
Interesting.
to be a good baby? Like, play the part.
Right.
Maybe get out.
The Predator's just going to be like, oh, this is another Predator.
Right.
I'm going to kill it.
Right. I don't even think it would try and act as prey.
Yeah.
You know?
Wait a second. This is between Damon and the Predator.
Yes.
Predator.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm still here. It's like, wait, what happened to Jamie? Because Jamie could probably do pretty good.
Jamie has to take the bus because he didn't get a good deal on a used car.
Yeah,
God, it's good.
exactly.
So he's waiting
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
bus
yeah.
stop.
Oof. Yeah, I mean, like, the Predators... I don't know.
I don't know if he could play the part.
No, I don't think he could be he could even feign. There's a word I'm looking for here, and it's totally escaping my mind.
Well,
What are you
even
gonna
if it
do?
was a way to like continue, even if it was a way to adapt as an attack style, like to feign control, I guess is what you're saying. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like to even act weak.
Compliance.
Yeah,
He
compliance.
wouldn't even be able to feign the compliance.
No,
He'd be like,
he
no,
wouldn't
I'm
get
going
it.
to fight this thing.
Yeah, he'd see the TV with the advertisement. Be like, and just like stab it, thinking it was very real. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, he would slice her head off. He'd find that Frank dude, kill him, and then go on killing other things.
However, is it really like that much of a threat to the Predator? Would the Predator like understand like this monster as a threat? Like it doesn't do much. I guess it's a little strong.
Have you seen Prey yet?
I have seen Prey.
Because he just sees like like something kills something else, and he's like, I bet I could.
Which is hilarious. It's like snake, dog, woman.
Let's find this out.
I'm gonna go fight this bear.
Yeah, you're right. Toxic masculinity in space still.
Come on. Yeah. It's the year 18,756, Predator. Come on.
We're still in here? Really?
Come on. Yeah. Shoot. Yeah, I'll just go with Damon on that one too. Yeah. He's very conniving. He's cunning. He would understand. Yeah. And if he was injured, he would easily recognize maybe a television.
Yeah.
And just be like, oh, maybe
what is this sorcery? Yes, maybe it has some answers.
Yeah, he would definitely side more on the way that Tess did in the movie rather than Bill Skarsgård did in trying to run away.
Listen, he just suck the rubber nipple until we have a chance to get out of here.
Perhaps.
With the hair on it. Don't worry about the hair on it.
Oh, the hair is a horrible
awesome.
detail.
Yeah.
I think we might have dethroned the Predator.
That's fantastic.
That's pretty crazy.
Wow,
you were on a seminal episode, man. This is probably like the 5th one that he's carried on.
He's been on a nice little run.
Really?
Maybe 3.
Wow. Okay.
Maybe
and he
3.
had to defeat Neo, the one, to get here.
Yeah, and he was on here for a while.
The Predator killed Neo.
Yeah.
Or it beat him.
Yeah, something happened.
Well, you heard it here first. Daemon Targaryen would be a better baby to the barbarian monster, and he continues on as our Peeps and Predicts champion. I want to thank everyone,
especially Ryan,
Thank you guys
wonderful
for having me
filmmaker.
on. Yeah.
Oh, Ryan, by the way,
So
why
much
don't before we take this out, to play this out, what does that mean? To play this out? I'm just kidding. Can you give us a little bit of info on what's coming up for you in your filmmaking?
Sure. The music box, which I made forever ago, it's having its last showing at a film festival this Halloween in Albuquerque at Dark Red Film Festival, I believe it's called. So I'll plug that in too.
Nice.
It's going to be, it's been in the film festival circuit for quite a while now. But
it has won its laurels, though.
It's gotten some it's gotten some notoriety for sure. But yeah, we just made a short film / proof of concept about a right-wing content creator who has to deal with unexpected guests during his latest video recording.
Lovely.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's called Vermin. To keep an eye out for it. I think in about 6 weeks it'll be done.
That's
Get
awesome.
through the film festival circuit, man, and it's a doozy. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's
It's really interesting to see, I remember when you were telling me the concept of this movie, and to see it come to fruition, even in what stills I've seen, I was just like, wow, this is just what you were telling me in your head. It's amazing to see it come out.
That's
like
awesome, man. Yeah, we've been talking about it for a long time now, and to have something like physical, and to watch it, dialogue and music and these VFX, it's gonna be killer. And I'm really proud of it. Really excited to actually start showing people.
How was the filmmaking process?
It was
having had a really successful first film like that too.
Oh man, I mean it's awesome. It just I told somebody, it was my actor for Vermin, which is what the new film is called, Vermin. I told him very modestly that we're incapable of making bad because
That's good.
Well, yeah, I mean I'm really just I felt like it was in a good spot to move forward with. Ron Drynan, the actor in that film, he is incredible, and it's about my fourth piece of content with him acting. Brian Markenthal returning as the director of photography has such an eye, and he crafted again something just spectacular looking. We just had a really great team. Shot in 4 nights. Wow. It was 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. for 4 nights, and
nice.
Just
still pretty right under schedule. I mean,
and I just remember a friend telling me just give yourself as much time as possible, and it's a very short script, but it really came together it's still, it still has like those like tiny little bits to like finish, but like I'm just over the moon with how it looks and like the experience.
The anticipation is swelling here too. I'm really
I can't
excited.
wait to show
I'm
you
pretty
guys.
swollen.
Yeah. In many ways, wrecked, if you will.
Yeah.
Definitely a movie we will be checking out on the podcast
Cool.
when it comes out. Please let us know.
Absolutely.
We would be more than happy to share that with you guys. Is there like a website for you or any socials we can follow for you that you'd like to plug?
Yeah, I and again, like the Music Box has been in like the film festival circuit for so long, but I think I'm going to just kind of like combine what I do from here on out on an Instagram page.
Nice.
So right now it's just at the Music Box short film on Instagram.
That's right.
And I think I'm going to change it to the production company that doesn't exist yet, but Sinister Broadcast Productions.
And it
is
exists right now.
Beautiful.
Boom.
Yeah.
As of right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I think just regarding like my filmmaking endeavors, like my personal projects, I think that's going to be what I change, that Instagram like handle to. So it'll probably be
Dope.
at Sinister Broadcast Productions.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
I should change that like right now.
That's very exciting. So check it out if you're able to find at the Music Box short film on Instagram or at Sinister
Broadcast Productions.
Productions.
Get on so you can make your other movie nerd friends be like, I've been following this channel since it was the Music Box short film.
Ryan
Yeah.
Riddle, I actually saw him at the first UMR episode in 2020. You probably never heard about it. Not a lot of people do.
But they should.
They should. Again, check out Ryan Riddle. He's got some IMDb credits. You could check him out there. You could probably follow him anywhere else too. I know you do some movie reviews of yourself on your personal page too, right?
I do. Yes. Instagram's just a lot of fun because you can, you just add music and you add GIFs and it's fun. It's really just, it's just like you were saying, it's a hobby.
Yeah.
And it's just a lot of fun. Every film that I see, I want to talk about. I want to like discuss it.
For sure.
And I like 99% of the time I just go by myself. I'm that guy.
Oh, I go too.
In the theater. Yeah. But nothing is better to do after seeing a movie than talk about it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Right. So
it's a process.
yeah. My Instagram is Ryan Riddle 957.
957.
Yeah.
There you go.
And yeah, follow me and I'll follow you back. And I just talk, make, write, just everything movies.
Yeah. Very succinct, cool little reviews. I love it. You got
Thanks.
a good format going
Thank
on
you.
there.
I appreciate
Yeah.
that. Thanks.
So thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Uninformed Movie Reviews. Check us out at Twitter at UMR Podcast, at Instagram at Uninformed Movie Reviews. Be sure to check us out on Instagram. Dave is doing 31 Days of Horror, in which he checks out a new movie every day, gives you brand new content on it every day, and a nice little 2-minute bite, little bite of information. And we have Character Limit Exceeded coming up soon. We're doing Hellraiser,
Nice.
premiering on Hulu October 7th.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Stay tuned for UMR 63. It's going to be incredible. Spooky month is our favorite. Welcome back. Thank you for being here. We'll see you next time.
Yep.
Kitty, 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 kitty.